Hello Intuitors, it's Aria here, and I'm just about to get into doing a reading for everybody by their Zodiac sign. It will be essentially a love forecast for 2019. I'm kind of focusing in on a time period of about 6 months because I plan on doing the reading again maybe once every 3 months or so to see how things are changing. But this is like a long-term love forecast for a larger period of time. However, I will say that I do expect that for every person, it might unfold a little bit differently timing-wise. For some of you, this story might unfold in a really, sooner time frame than 6 months, and some of you it might be farther out. I kind of look at it as the bell curve. So what I'm going to do at the end of the reading, make sure you stay tuned all the way till the end because I'm going to do a really fun pick a card reading that will give you a time frame that gives you a better idea, a sense of how and when this might unfold, because I know a timing question is something that I most often get. When do you see this likely to happen? I will have to say, however, that as a card reader, not only for myself but for others, I have found that because we all have free will choice, and because the energies that are being looked at any given time in a situation can always change based on the choices that you make or the choices the other person makes, that the timing can always be a tricky thing. And so understand that anytime we're looking at a timing situation or even any situation that's being painted in the cards, if it really resonates inside of you and you really feel the truth of it, then it's pretty likely that this is the course that you're truly on at this time, and that if no major decisions are changed, or like some of the things that you have free will choice in or that they have free will choice in, if there's no major changes in those, like where they're headed, that's the direction you guys are going. But of course, as human beings, we do have a tendency to, have monkey wrenches thrown into things. Maybe something else comes along that you didn't expect or see. And so, that can always change the outcome. But at any given time, I think it's actually a very useful tool to take a look at a card reading and say, okay, where are things headed right now? Because if I don't like this story, what can I do to change this? Or if I would like to see this occur, what can I do to make sure that it stays on course? So basically, that's how you can use these readings. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, rising, or your Venus as well, in case one of these readings doesn't really resonate with you. Maybe the other one will. Or maybe you'll get more details from one of the other readings as well. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing to my channel. And we're going to get right into your personalized reading for your sign of the Zodiac. And looking forward to seeing you there. Alright, so I am probably going to pull some other little cards here, but let's go ahead and get started on talking about this. These are where you're at right now, this is where you're going, and this is the suggested action to take, what you might need to do. I will just say, right off we have two negative cards. The cross card is sometimes negative, sometimes positive, and I'm feeling in this case we'll take a look at it, maybe both. These are all neutral cards. The ring is about contracts and agreements and commitments, and this ship is really about trips and travel, and then there's communication that's involved. So it could be that you're going to be having conversations about a trip, and those conversations have to do with some kind of commitment. So because this is a love reading, we're making the assumption that this is about committed, being in a committed relationship of some kind. I feel that that will be the case, that some of you right now are talking with someone that you are in a committed relationship with about taking a trip. But of course, obviously, that won't be the case for everybody. So for those of you where it's not already a committed relationship, this trip could have something to do toward moving it along that line. Where you're headed these are going to be really positive together. The cross, to me, especially next to the lilies, because it's very positive, is about the higher vibrational sides of the cross, which is it being destined, a destined connection, a destined attraction. You're really on the right spiritual path as well. The lilies can be about health or career, as well as just about what you're really attracted to. Strong attraction, even sex, lilies can stand for that. And so there's really a strong, beautiful, destined attraction that is coming into your life if they're not already there. It could be that you go on a trip and you meet this person, you know, so you may not even know them yet, and then, you know, when you do meet this person within the next 6 months, that, you know, they're really destined for you, and there's a strong attraction. But the clouds just suggest that there's some confusion around it. So it looks to me like wherever you're headed, you know, initially anyway, if it's a new situation, you could be headed into, you know, you're feeling this, you feel this beautiful, strong attraction. It's great. There's, you know, maybe even great sex, but there is some kind of confusion. There's something that's not clear and something that is unknown. And we'll find out more in a minute about what that is. A suggested action to take. So the mice and the fox are, the fox is kind of a negative card in general, although he does have more positive characteristics since he's next to the flowers. It could bring about some of the more positive sides of him, in the sense that the flowers are about things that are beautiful, lovely, a gift. They really bring joy and happiness and a lot of creativity. And the fox can just be about business. It can be a business person. It could be an entrepreneur. And then the mice is a totally negative card. There's never a positive side to the mice, except that if we have it next to a positive card, then it can say, you know, your things are turning around with the mice. But the mice are about your worries, your fears, things that eat away at you, and actual loss, theft, and, you know, things that just is very unpleasant overall, even like decay. So the suggested action here is that if any of you, you know, again, we're looking at this from a love reading context, but we do have an idea that there may be some like entrepreneurship for some of you. And so you might think to yourself, well, I don't know what that business side thing or anything has to do with love. But if something in your business realm, your career realm, because the fox is about career, if anything in that area is, you know, and there's like, you enjoy your work, or you need to get into work that you enjoy because your work is eating at you, work you don't like is eating away at you. What does this have to do with love? Well, if this area of your life isn't taken care of and not in balance, then you can't have, you know, like everything needs to be in balance. So right now it's saying, look, this is something you've got to deal with in order to have love come into your life the way you want to. And Capricorn, you guys are the workhorse of the entire zodiac. You guys are very hard workers. You're very into your career and everything. So it even could be that in the case of some of you, you love your work so much that that's eating away at you, and you're not giving time. Your career and your love for work eats away at your time for love. I mean, your desire, because the flowers is like, this is very positive. So this is, you know, you're happy with your work situation, and but that is, you know, you're unbalanced with that, and it's eating away from some other areas of your life that need attention. So this is going to read differently for different people. But let's go ahead and pull some of these little cards that will give us the houses, so we know what areas to look at specifically for these. So where are we going to see, what does travel come up in? Travel comes up in the house of the snake. This is actually saying that in some cases of you, this is not going to be advisable travel at this time. So that's interesting. The book is secrets, communications. It could even be about gossiping, people talking about secrets. And again, this is in regards to love, or there could be conversations, you know, that you need to have conversations about, you know, with your lover or this person who will be coming into your life. Like, you need to make sure the conversations take place around things that could be secrets, because that could be something that, you know, could be coming back to bite you. And then we have the ring in the house of the money. And so commitments do seem like they're coming up around finances. So looking at financial commitments, whatever is going along around, whatever is occurring around finances in your situation is coming up to be addressed, and have conversations about that as well. I just would just say some caution here. This is not necessarily to mean that you shouldn't take a trip if it comes up, but there's some caution around that trip. You just need to be aware and be careful. Let's take a look at where the cross is in the house of a decision. So you have a decision to make, and that is, it will be a destined decision. So when you make the decision, it is destined, like what comes out of it is destined. And of course, this again is in connection with love. So maybe you meet someone, you have a decision to make. We also want to look at cards that mirror each other here. So we go to the ring mirrors the cross, and so a decision, a destined decision about commitments, and the commitments are in the house of money, but it could just be that the commitments are affecting, you know, like they're connected to finances, but it may still be a relationship commitment, for example. Lily's in the house of the birds, so communication there. Cloud over the fish. So again, you know, we're looking at mirrors, and that's saying I would pay attention to reasons for travel right now. The lily is in the house of the key, and so the key is about having success in anything that you do. So again, this destined connection, the destined decision, that it has a very strong attraction. You know, when there is this attraction here that is key. And I'm very curious to see what comes up for clouds. A woman. So there's confusion about a woman, or the woman is confused. And that does kind of make sense because we're looking at a love reading here. And when the clouds come up, you know, who's facing that communication? If you're the man watching it, then she has some confusion. If you're the female, then you're confused about something. The mouse is in the house of the lilies. So we look over here at lilies, and the lilies are the key. So this is exactly what I was saying here. Like, you need to deal with this mice situation because it is affecting your attraction. And this attraction, you know, the clouds, the woman, I mean, this is all connected here. So whether this is you or whether this is them, this is all connected to your love. And if you don't deal with these mice and what's happening with them, then you're gonna have trouble. And then the house, the fox and the bear, it's really about business because the bear is the businessman. It can be the mama bear and the, you know, caretaker in the home as well. But the primary meaning of bear is the businessman, the corporate man, the CEO. The fox is the entrepreneur. So I feel like this is somebody, like, you have a lot going on with business and work in some way. Of course you do, your Capricorn. And then the flowers in the garden. So that's social. Networking, social media, social places, meeting people socially. So, you know, this is all very good, but you just have to be very careful because this is actually eating away at your, you know, this thing that's destined. The lilies are destined in your life. This strong attraction for someone in your, and this is about love. This is where you're headed. You're headed here, but if you don't take care of the mice, then it will block that. This looks good, except the clouds need to be dealt with as well. All right, so I am going to pull a few tarot cards to take a look at more about this situation and the love. I want to know more about the trip and the snake. What is happening with that trip and the snake in this house of the snake? So the snake's characteristics, other than being more negative, like venom and viper and, you know, backbiting and backstabbing and that kind of thing, and is that the snake is, you know, it's able to be flexible and get around situations, difficult situations. So there are some positive sides, but I got the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Swords is a card that I read. I read it sometimes as having some positive characteristics as well as negative ones, but when it comes up with the snake, I'm just really feeling you really need to watch out. You have someone here in this trip, like maybe you need to take the trip so you can deal with them. There's regret. There's loss. I feel like this is someone who you may or may not want to take this trip. I'm not saying one way or another. It's going to be different for different people. But there's a lot going on around this trip for you. This connection in some way. Whether it's a physical trip, or maybe for some of you it's literally just you need to go like see this person and put something to rest. But you need to be careful because they have not been honest with you in the past, and this is in some way affecting and impacting your love. So, because the Five of Cups was, you know, there was some loss, but the Seven of Swords is somebody who is not being honest. They've been a thief and so on, and that's exactly what we have with the snake. So I'm again not saying that the trip shouldn't be taken. It's just something needs to be addressed. Is what I'm saying. And communication needs to be around it, and we have secrets. So I just feel like, you know, there was something. I'm very curious, and they pulled my eyes to this one. The Four of Swords. Look at the back of that one. I don't know if I already told you guys. I've been doing this reading already. I mean, other readings, and this particular deck of cards is the vice versa. So we have a front and a back, a different view of the same picture. There's a lot of pain and sadness around something for a lot of you in regards, I feel, you know, in regards to love. That's what it's about. All right, let's see more about, I feel like it, for a lot of you, this is just something, other situation that needs to be dealt with. And so that you can move on into the new destined love. So you had a decision here. You have a decision to make. And when you made that decision, then this destined person comes in, and it's like something here had to be put to rest. Maybe some of you even were engaged, but that marriage or engagement, or you were in a committed relationship, and that committed relationship was based on, you know, just the money. There wasn't love there, and there was a lot of, you know, there wasn't love there, you guys, for a lot of you. Again, general reading, so this doesn't apply. Listen to what, you know, Sun, Earth, your Sun, Earth. Listen to your Sun, Moon, or Rising. Your Venus even can be a good one to listen to. So we have the Ten of Swords. So more betrayal and backstabbing. That's just coming up real big, in a big way. So I want to see more about love coming in. And I've got the Two of Cups. So you do have a better match out there than for those of you who are in this not happy situation. And right now, her back is to you. I've got the Queen of Cups. So for some of you, it is a water sign, but you just don't see her yet because she's not quite there. And you know, she's not there yet, or he, if it's a he or she for either one of you guys. And this is the night side of the page. So the night side, I'm feeling like some of you may meet them in the evening at night, because I just had night all over the place here. That's just what pops up. Somebody you meet at night, or try to think of symbolically what night would be. You know, at nighttime when I'm, you know how different things feel at night, like, right? Everything just feels kind of close and around you. You know, you can't see everything. It really makes you just focus on what's right in front of you, and that's what I feel like with this page. He's focusing on what's right in front of him. I feel for some of you, and so are they. For some of you, this love may be right in front of you, and you just haven't, like, taken the time to see it yet. I think that's not a message for everyone. That's a message for somebody out there. And then I have the Temperance. This is Sagittarius, so some of you might be dealing with a Sagittarius, but Temperance is like that divine blending and union of energies. So that's happening. Like, that's just what's going on with you right now. And you might feel, you know, you might still be over here in this space, but the universe is working, because this is a destined, you know, something's destined here. The universe is working to help bring it about. And then we have the Star. So I'm feeling really good about that. You know, stay tuned here to the end, because if you want to see a timing, get some idea for timing, you can do the little pick a card reading. Check out my other pick a card readings as well. I'll be doing a lot more of them. And we will see you soon. All right, now that we're done with that part of the reading, we're going to go into a fun timing activity that will give you a better idea or a sense of when some of the parts of this reading will unfold for you that resonated most with you. So what I'm going to have you do is think about 4 different time frames that feel the most likely happen with this story. For example, if you're like, you know, I don't really see this happening for at least a couple months, then pick that as your shortest time frame. But if you're like, yeah, you know, I really could see this happening within the next, you know, 3 weeks or so, then pick that as your earliest time frame. Then pick out your kind of your latest time frame, and then pick 2 other time frames in between, whether it's, you know, whether it's several weeks or whether it's several months. Assign a time frame to each, your Ace of Diamonds, your Spades, your Clubs, your Hearts, and assign a time frame to each one of those. I'm going to go ahead and do the yes or no answer kind of reading. And at the end of the reading, we're going to end up with 2 yeses and 2 nos. And the 2 yeses are going to be your time frame. Let's go ahead and get right into that one now. Okay, so we now have our 2 yeses, and your timing for your question here is contained in these two on the ends. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have. We have the Ace of Spades and the Ace of Diamonds. So whatever your time frame is that you chose, those are your outliers. And let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have coming up here. Well, we do have quite a lot of love on this side here. It does look like this started out with some kind of love relationship, that you will meet someone whether you have met them yet or not. And it does here say that you just really need to take action. So but not to be impulsive, but there is a new commitment, and it is time, you should take action is what's being recommended there. So you meet someone, you should take action, or they should take action, you both should. And be careful though that you don't get into kind of like a funk about things. Like I feel like if there's no action that's taken, like the tendency for that, this is a warning here, because otherwise you can kind of get stuck. And because here is also talks about indecision and a lack of faith, and then having difficulty moving forward in order to achieve change. So it just looks like there's love, but it looks like things are having a hard time getting off the ground because either one or both of you, and there's frustrations because of that, and then some confusion or doubt. And then there's a need to forgive and leave a situation that causes regret. So for some of you, it does feel to me like there, like I said, there was an initially someone that you have met. Maybe this has already taken place. You've already met this person. And if things are really stuck and aren't, like isn't happening, then what's going to be needed in order for you to move forward and get the love in your life that you really want is to let this go. And remember, and it's a lesson learned. And then it does also, again, talk about obstacles that could stand in the way of your success and missed opportunities. So make sure you don't have a missed opportunity come up, because then we end up with the King of and the Queen of Spades, with the Ace of Spades. Interesting. I think there was a lot of love there because we do have a lot of hearts, but all of the hearts that we do have are in the negative position, like in the reversed position, and have their more negative attributes there. So not that that message is for everyone, but that was there for some people who needed to hear it. Now here's another message about how to move things forward toward your love relationship that I'm assuming is your desire since you are watching this video. All right, so we begin out with some, it does talk about not making any big changes because there's financial difficulties. So although it does say that there's success in a new enterprise, so I feel like some of you actually may have started a new job, or a new career, or you're an entrepreneur, or there's just something that you have started, the beginning of something, but it's causing some financial strain at first. And then you end up with a joyful outcome after that difficult phase. So things do turn around pretty quickly for you there. And so just really, that there's a lot to be grateful for in that regard. And but it does here talk about feelings of depression and hurt and anger have caused someone to be discouraged. Look past your anxieties because success will be eventual. Now, whether that's kind of in this the beginning here, or if it's kind of like, sometimes I'll read these and I feel like it's not necessarily that this is the order that it happens in, but this is all pieces of advice that need to come forward for some reason. You do end up having new friends and associates, and I do feel like that if you haven't met someone yet, that's possible that it could even come through the workplace. Be careful that you respond quickly to repair your actions if you realize that you have hurt someone, because it could come back to, kind of like a karma situation where it comes back around. Not because, I mean, you're a better person, of course, than doing it just for yourself, but you do need to watch out for things like that, because that energy of putting out something negative, even if it was unintentional, can come back and then make things difficult for you. So just make sure to put that into place. But you do have a feeling of happiness, and fewer problems are coming in regards to money. And then we do also have a matched pair again with the King and the Queen of Clubs. So that's looking good. Anyway, that's a little bit of a reading for your timing on the end of this spread.